This is take two at having a look at possible detours around the Canterbury underpass worksite. And what council are proposing to do is put, where that blue line is on the right hand side, is to put a temporary path across the dog park to get us into, I think it's Close Street, and then we can meander our way through the diversion. Now I just wanted to show you an alternative as we come up here that's been suggested. See that blue dotted line? It's been suggested we turn right off the path there, which would be right up here going into the sun. That's not the right time of the day to be filming this. And that would take us up around a back street, and I'm going to ride up around and have a look at that street from the other side. Now, people that ride along here regularly would know, as we're coming along here towards the dog park, there's a short, sharp uphill section. And okay, it's not that sharp and it's not that uphill, but you know, it is a bit of an uphill because the dog park is higher than the surrounding land. So you've got to consider where is the most sensible place to put the path across this park. Now, I would say it's about here, because it's at the top of the hill and it's nice and flat and it's already worn out by dogs, etc. Although going across there, you probably have conflicts with dogs. So, you wouldn't want to put it exactly there. You want to put it over a bit so you don't have dogs chasing you or potentially running over dogs. But the problem with putting the path well away from the dog park is the terrain. I think whoever drew that line in the map hasn't actually been out here on a bike and considered what it would be like to ride across this section, which is where it looks like they're going to put the path.
Now that's the dog park up there in the distance, and according to the map, the way they're going to do the detour is they're going to run a mat kind of up here. Well, you can't really see it from here, but well, maybe that person down there provides a bit of scale. This is a really steep slope. It's like that, if not steeper. I think a lot of people actually wouldn't be able to ride up it. So running the path up here is actually pretty stupid. I don't think anyone's come out and had a look.
The upshot of that is I think council really needs to have a close look at this map and think about where they're going to really put the path, and maybe go down there with some stakes with ribbons on the top and stick them out so we can see where it's going to be, or where the proposed path is going to be, and we can comment on it and say, yeah, that's a good spot, or that's really silly. So let's ride up towards Canterbury Road and get on the footpath and just have a look at this for a second time. And the path hasn't gotten any better, and this time there were some pedestrians on it. And I just want to show that because of the poor condition of the path and things like this, well, I don't know why this shady thing is here, but it's there for some reason. It just completely congests things, and yeah, it's not real good. So I think it's going to be absolute chaos coming up there when things are busy. Now I got to here and thought, well, while I'm here, someone suggested using this detour at the back, so I'll just pop around the back of the hotel, go down this street and see what's at the other end. Now you might remember from the map I put up at the beginning where I showed that blue dotted line, this is kind of where I would have popped out. Okay, sorry for the convoluted explanation, and I'm not actually going to do the whole route, but I thought I'd go down this road and see what it's like. Well, look, this section of the road is one way, and I'm obviously riding the correct way along it, and it's reasonably wide, and it certainly looks wide enough along here to put in a bicycle contraflow lane. Now, whether that would actually work with getting residents used to it, etc., there's that blue dotted line I'm following, and you can see I actually went too far. I thought I'd go right down the end and see if there were any alternative routes to get down across the railway line, etc. And the answer was, yeah, I don't think so. Not safe routes, because look, you've got to remember that this the Cooks River is used by commuters, possibly going reasonably long distances, and families. So you want something that's going to be family safe. It's got to be kids safe, particularly young kids. Under the age of 12, and I've seen kids riding along the Cooks River who must have been 5 or 6 years old. So you got to make it so that they can ride it as well. So we come down this no-through road, and at the end of it there is a footbridge that goes across the railway line. And yeah, we could potentially use this if this ramp was widened, for instance, and if the council came along with an angle grinder and cut those frames off so we could actually get across there, and we would follow that blue line and would pop out around the back of what's called the Sugar House, and we would actually be coming out down here through these gates up here on the right. Is that a viable option as opposed to going through the park? Oh, if you want to do this, by the way, you see that bridge. If you're going that way and you see the bridge, you've gone too far to try this route. Anyway, let's go back the other way and see what it's like. Could this be a viable contraflow? Well, we wouldn't need to along here because it's two-way. It becomes one-way in this section. Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure about it. Anyway, got to the lights here, click the button, and it was then a 2-minute wait this time to get across as opposed to 1 minute and 20 seconds last time. Which kind of begs the question of, you know, normally riding through this section would take, what, less than a minute, I guess. What sort of additional time are these detours adding to your commute? And, you know, given you can spend a couple of minutes just waiting at the traffic lights, probably a reasonable amount of time. So this time I thought I'll ride down Broughton Street and have a look at this one. I mean, what's this one like? Big wide road, surface was in reasonable condition, I think. Don't know what the traffic along here is like, but I was following this bloke who was popping wheelies going down the road, and I was focusing on him so much that when we got to this next intersection, because I'd never been through here before and the sun was in my eyes, I completely missed that it was a give way and there was a vehicle coming from the right, and thankfully they you know, didn't clean us up. So you know, there is a speed hump there, etc. But would I want to ride along here? Well, this part's okay, but the question is, when we get to the end, where do we get off it to get back onto the path? And that's where it all goes to hell, because you know, when you come around this corner, and I completely missed this because the sun was in my eyes and it was the first time, I could have turned off there, but I think that would be a suicide run to turn right there with drivers coming the other way, etc. And people were driving around here faster than they should have, I think. So for that reason, I do not think that's a good place. I mean, you know, good old boy racer there, you know, having to overtake before we go into the tunnel, vehicles come the other way, not a smart place to go. The other option, of course, is as we come around this corner, is to hop off here, and again, I think could be a little bit suicidal with oncoming traffic. So yeah, that route, for that reason, I would not want to see that as the preferred route. The one that council proposed is painful, but at least it's safer than this one. This one would probably need quite a bit of work. Now, I am going to go out and do part 3 and have a look at some other alternatives, so stay tuned for that.